What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Women's Rugby Treehouse. I am Julia. I've got Hattie and Sian here, as always. We are back. We've been discussing the Women's Rugby World Cup 2025 pools. We have finally reached Pool D. We are very excited, and we're so glad to have you with us. Today, we're going to be talking about Pool D. Just a reminder, Pool D is France, Italy, South Africa, and Brazil. And as always, I'm going to kick it over to Hattie.
So we're going to start off with France, who are top of the pool and are currently ranked number 4 in the world, which I feel like they've been number 4 in the world for about
Forever.
27 years. Yeah.
Yep. Yep, been trading it back and forth with Canada, with New Zealand sometimes, and right now it's their turn to hold it.
Yeah. Anyway, they've had a rocky few years with clear issues in their back office and their really complicated funding structure. As like the unofficial weird memory bank for women's rugby funding, even I don't
Yes.
understand France.
I was just gonna say the only person that I ever consult for stuff like this is Hattie, and I have come to Hattie before, for various France type questions, and to put it frankly, it's an opaque organization. We just want to say that to just kick us off because we really want to know more. It's not that we want to be guessing so much. This is a product of FFR. They have been like this for a while, and on the men's rugby side, there have been similar complaints. There have been a few happenings recently. I'm hoping that we're going to dive into it, and I don't mean to spoil it for you if I am, Hattie, but for example, the big one that I can think of is for the opening match, we will not be seeing Pauline Bordeaux-Sessou for a weird reason. And really that to me set the tone. We're looking at a France that everybody really wants to be doing well and should be doing well by all metrics. There are a lot of question marks, and I'm curious what you guys think.
Yeah. France is very complicated. Rugby in France has very not strange, but like the top 14, which is the men's league, is the biggest in the world, and the Pro Data, which is the second tier, is also one of the biggest men's leagues in the world. Neither of those are part of FFR, so they are not run by the federation. They're complete own separate companies, which is very different to say the RFU and the Prem. It's very unique. It's quite interesting. It's why club rugby. It's one of the reasons why club rugby in France is more important in men's rugby, etc., etc. However, the Elite One, there have been multiple rumors over the years that it is going to be bought by the top 14, and it just never is, and it's still part of the FFR. I think if it was part of the top 14, I think it would be a lot clearer, because so much of it, and like who exactly is paying the contracts? Are they centrally contracted? Are they being paid by the team? We don't really know.
It's aggravating that we can't get clarity from FFR, which is where you go first. And then when you are forced to go elsewhere, when you're forced to go to media, for example, it's an unfortunate thing. In fact, our friend of the pod, producer of the pod, Hugh, has dived into this before about, while it's not an official media blackout or anything like that, so much media has gone behind paywalls. It is not easy for people in England, let alone somebody like me in the US, to buy subscriptions for that. And then second of all, we can't. It's not feasible. Not the way the world is. But all of that information has gone behind paywalls, and even when you can access it, I'm trying to find a diplomatic or nice way to say it, but it's cagey.
It's cagey,
It just
and
feels
a
like
lot of
they've
it
got.
contradicts each other.
I was gonna say it
Yeah.
feels obtuse on purpose.
There's just no strategy.
That you're not meant to understand, and that perhaps, and this is
I
me
mean,
reading into it, but perhaps that they're like, it's not for you to know. In which
yeah, it
case,
does feel like that. It does feel like that. But like we've talked about this so many times on the pod about how the WRU don't really have a strategy for women's rugby.
yes,
But I don't know. I feel like with France, they've got a lot of they've got a lot more than Wales, haven't they? They've got a lot more
yes,
going for them with their structure. And I just feel like it's wild to me that I don't know. It's wild to me that we're in this situation.
It's just it feels bureaucratic, and I think
It
part of the
does,
reason why
yes.
it feels bureaucratic is that when you look at the France girls, like the under 18s, the under 20s, they are hands down the best women's
Yeah,
girls
they're
age grade
doing.
side in the world.
One
Yeah,
of
they're
their age
smashing
grade,
everyone.
it's either U20 or U18, but either U20 or U18 hasn't lost since 2022. One of them hasn't.
I can't remember which one it was, but yeah, you're right.
But
Yeah.
it's the one that does the summer festival, whatever that is.
I think that's under 18s.
I think that's under 18s, yeah.
And that's mental. But then
Yeah.
they go into women's and they just aren't performing the same.
Nothing.
They've
And
got such a talented squad.
It doesn't make sense.
That's the problem. And by the way, and it would be
so
different.
frustrating.
It would be different because we have talked about other teams. Actually, we have talked about other teams where there is a lot of potential, except for the actual on pitch talent. France doesn't have this problem. France has a lot of high performers, and we know because kicking and screaming, we have seen a bit of Elite One, Elite One. We've seen it. We know the players. So a very few of them have come to PWR as well, but we've seen their performance year over year on Six Nations. This isn't a team that we have no exposure to. The only thing we don't know is what the fuck is happening behind closed doors.
They've got like the FFR is well, the top 14, as I said, is the richest league in the world. I'm pretty sure the FFR is like one of the richest unions in the world.
Yep.
Rugby is like the #1 sport in France at the moment, because football has fallen off. They've got the talent pool. Why are they
No
only
question.
fourth?
It's really frustrating. It's hugely frustrating.
And because everything is so opaque, we don't know what the problem is. It's not like Wales that leaks like a sieve. It's not like Scotland who are standing up and saying, this is our problem.
I mean,
we genuinely don't know.
No.
So
Yeah,
interesting you brought
really
that
good
up.
point.
Interesting you brought that up because there are a few things that we can divine from either happenings that we know about or omissions. So I'm going to hit a few, and I'm betting a lot of them are ones you want to expand on, Hattie. First of all, we have seen what we have to assume, and this is bad for you, FFR. This is bad for you that we have to assume this, because it would be great if it was clarified. But for example, there are several big name omissions from this World Cup squad. Also, there are instances like I teased it or whatever. There are instances of within Elite One, Pauline Bourdon-Sansu came out and honestly, compared to the other rugby teams that we know, and especially compared to men's rugby, came out very politely. And what other people have said in an unofficial capacity, because they don't let anybody speak on an official capacity whatsoever, but in an unofficial capacity has said, it really didn't seem like she was like being a butt to be a butt. Like she wasn't saying this. She wasn't, okay, I'll cover it. She came out, she made some, what sounded pretty constructive criticisms about the refereeing in Elite. Great.
Not individual referees. It was about the overall quality.
The refereeing. It wasn't even about one referee. What FFR decided to do was sanction her. She missed 2 matches. She missed the last warm-up, and she's going to miss the opening match. We don't know why. We don't know the reasoning behind it, except for that we are to understand as fellow rugby fans that you're not allowed to do that. Okay, well, okay, but you are. I mean, other players and other unions do it, maybe not necessarily about refereeing, and maybe not necessarily in a very public manner. By the way, her manner wasn't very public. Nothing in France is very public, but enough so that it got out. So unfortunately for FFR, if you're not coming out and getting in front of all of this, what we understand from it is there's discord somewhere. It has to be. Where is Gaël Hermé? Like, we have some questions, and you're not giving us answers, and it's strange. And when we only see the performances that you put out, I don't know where to go from that other than like you fill in the blanks.
Why was your male assistant coach promoted ahead of your female head coach?
Who everyone likes more, and nobody likes David Ortiz.
But the Pauline stuff to me,
we all have to guess.
It smells, well, I mean, obviously we don't know what's going on, but it does smell a little bit
like, like sour grapes.
You don't like
that she said it.
Yeah, it does. But I
criticism
wonder if
not
else,
welcome.
if something else is going on here, like, you know, we saw it with the Welsh team and some in the Ewan Cunningham era, didn't
Yes.
we? When players weren't
Absolutely
picked or didn't,
retaliation.
or they
Absolutely.
weren't, they suddenly were like, why is this player not in this squad suddenly on this team? And it's kind of like,
And by the
I
way,
think there's
and
parallels going on here. Basically.
I'm glad you brought that up, because unfortunately, now, very interesting you brought that up, because the two other places where we have seen this, actually I have three: Wales, Scotland, and Australia. All three have had discordance that has kind of been leaked as time goes on. And then when you find out the actual bomb, it's not been good. It's always been bad news. And I don't know why France, I don't know why.
I think you
FFR
can add
wouldn't look at
Ireland
this
to
and be
that list as well.
Oh,
Yes.
oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. Oh my
100%.
gosh. Oh my gosh. Absolutely, Ireland. I mean, I only left off Ireland because that was so monumental. You're absolutely right. We just talked about that, in fact. But in what where does
They're being treated
France,
like,
why does France think that they're protecting themselves? This does not look good.
they just look, it's, I don't know, like it's like they're treating them like kids or school kids, naughty school kids. And I don't like that.
This is absolutely scolding Pauline Bourdon-Sansu. By the way, your best player. I hate doing that because, like, obviously all players are good. I love them all.
Yeah, but
but she's the best scrum half on the
charismatic.
she's the best scrum half on the planet.
She
if
is
not
100%.
Mohan. It's PBS. Yeah.
like, unfortunately for Pauline Bourdon-Sansu, she will never go down as the best French scrum half of all time. She will never go down as the best Toulouse scrum half of all time. And that's
Why,
because France and Toulouse both have Antoine Dupont, who is her bestie.
Who is her bestie?
Yeah, I kind of love
Literally.
that. I love
It
it.
is.
So-
I mean, we talked about it. We talked about it briefly when we talked about Wales, but of course, if for some reason, and there's pretty much no chance because it's not French language, but if for some reason anybody from France is listening, oh my god,
It might be Gabby
we're
Vernier
thrilled.
because she speaks English.
Gabby Vernier. Oh my god, friend of the pod, Gabby Vernier.
Do you? Sorry, I'm going to go really off topic here.
Oh please.
Do you remember last year when she was in Canada for WXV and she won Player of the Match? And obviously, because it was Canada, they were like, we've got a French language translator,
We're
right?
good.
Yeah.
And the guy started translating and she went, no, thank you, I'll do it in English.
Yeah, that was a power move. It was brilliant.
That's
She was like,
that's so baller. It's
Do it in
so
English,
baller. And I do love also, from the little bit that I have gotten to see, I do love that the few times that I have gotten to see the several Canadians who play in Elite, when they're just like, do you wanna, and they're like, and it's like Karen Peckin, she's like, no, I'd like to do it in French, please. Please.
Do you actually, it's an interesting point. Do you think the language barrier is possibly to
So
why
to
there
bring
I
hasn't been
think
much
they
from the
hide
players?
behind it.
To bring back
fair enough.
to bring back friend of the pod Hugh has actually broached that topic before, and didn't necessarily come to any conclusions in his investigation, but certainly the lack of any of the players coming to English language media. There's of course English language media in French, unfortunately, in France. Unfortunately, there's English language media everywhere. If they wanted to go behind the back, if I were a French player and I wanted to go behind the back of my union, that's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
also,
curious that has.
If we compare it
And
to
I
the
do
men's
wonder what
game,
has happened with the likes of Gaël Hermé, and who's the other one that we're really wondering where she's gone. I feel really bad. It's one of the backs. Ugh, we'll remember it. But especially Hermé.
But if you compare it to the men's game, like, you will get any piece of information. If a French male player is being racist, that gets translated into English very quickly.
Sure does.
The top 14,
if they get caught assaulting somebody in Argentina,
it gets translated. Like,
that is fair.
The
but
top
I wonder
14
if that's
posts
more
in English. The French Rugby Union will post in English when it's about the men's team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but is that because it's just men's and it's the men?
They're willing
men's
to.
sport just gets more stuff.
But why when you have an ascendant women's team? Why?
I don't know.
It's
I don't know. Maybe there's not actually that. We talk about it with some unions where I I go back and forth with Wales, to be honest, but like, how much do they actually want a successful Welsh side half the time? Sometimes I go back on it and say, oh no,
It
actually
really
they do.
does feel like that, though.
And I'm wondering with
Wales is a
France.
good example because it's the same feeling of, do you really want this to work?
Yeah, I think France is the same. I think there's like, I think I can't work it out, to be honest. It does feel like they kind of do, but they also don't.
But even
France-
Japan are happy to publish stuff in English.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that, but that's really the message that I'm trying to give with this, is that if they wanted to, they would, and they could. Because they could, they would. Because they don't, it looks fishy.
It
And
does,
even
yeah. Yeah, you're right.
We should also point this out. This information is not readily available in France. Like,
No.
myself and Julia
No.
have got sort of like French friends, and they've, like she said before, she didn't know.
Which is wild to me. I think that's wild.
Like,
And it's shooting
I
yourself in
think
the
that's
foot.
wild.
In a sport where we are constantly discussing the funds or lack thereof from team to team, funds or lack thereof, France isn't one generally that comes up in the conversation of, well, you know, they couldn't afford it. That's not France. This is a union that, if there is something in the way, they have chosen for it to be in the way.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that. And everybody knows that because of the success of your men's team.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Do you think that France will be, basically, what do you think what France is gonna turn up for this World Cup? Do we think that
and so now we move into the actual French rugby, and that is the real question for French rugby, for France women, is what we see. And we only brought up all of this background stuff because there is very little chance that it has no impact on everything. We know from, we've just listed Wales, Scotland, Ireland. We know from all three of those teams that when this shit is happening in the background, it will come onto the pitch. And what we are seeing now with France, overwhelmingly, they are a team of one half. Whether it be the first or the second half, we don't know. But when you're going into a World Cup, and if you don't have that predictability, it's very hard to do one of these cutesy little coverages that we do of a team, because we genuinely don't know who we're going to get. We can look at the squad, and we already have questions about the squad that aren't going to get answered. And then going from there, when you go, okay, well, what is your plan of attack going to be? What are your concerns? Who are you targeting? We're never going to find any of this out. We're left to hypothesize. And so that's where we're at. And kind of that's where we've landed. France is strong. It's a big rugby nation. We know what they bring. I'm worried, to be honest.
I think they got thumped by England. I mean, England, I can't remember what the score now
it wasn't good.
Because it was bad.
The problem is that wasn't good.
And bearing in mind, a couple of months ago, they literally almost beat them. It was 1 point because of a missed kick.
They should have beaten them.
And that's exactly where I was going to go with it.
Wild.
Was that I do not have a good answer for the inconsistency. Inconsistency is also, while from game to game, there is a lot of flux between gameplay and everything. Usually there is not as big a swing in performance overall. There is a lot of swinging in performance overall. Why? And we can't get that answer.
Yeah. And we won't get into whatever is going on with PBS, because we spoke about it during the Six Nations, that we don't really understand why she is not staying on for full games, but obviously she didn't play in the last England game because of her ban.
And we still don't know if she can go a full 80.
Yeah, we don't know.
But we will know. But we will know one thing that we have seen match over match is that when she comes off the pitch, things are different.
Things take a downturn. But somehow she's not the top ranked scrum half in the fantasy league. That is her teammate.
We would like to talk extensively for the next 40 minutes about the fucking fantasy. No, we don't understand. The fantasy makes no sense. They need to rejig it. That's insane.
They're the worst scores in the world. Sorry, just saying.
But you can join us and play against us.
We are going to drop the link in the description. However, we would like to say, in what world are Mo Hunt, PBS, and Kieran the exact same?
7.5.
But with Chambon,
and it's 7.5. Oh, and Chambon.
Sarah Byrne is 5.5. Sarah fucking Byrne.
Sarah fucking Byrne. I'll say it.
Sarah the
Sian is the fourth ranked Welsh prop.
And then also, how are Sarah Byrne and Hope Rogers in any way like not neck and okay?
Honestly, this kept me awake at night. I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
Sean has a lot going on.
Anyway, how France will be
5.5.
facing.
I'm sorry. I should have known.
France have their hardest pool game up front, which is against Italy, and they will be missing PBS for that. How much of a difference do you think that is going to make?
I think it's
because otherwise they had a very France had, to be honest, a very easy run.
They did, yeah.
But missing PBS against Italy, that's a big one.
I think Italy are playing well at the moment. I think they're kind of, you know, I mean, I expect France to still win, but
okay. I was gonna say, I guess I'm the only doubting Thomas here.
It wasn't that long ago that Italy beat France.
No,
it's 3 years ago.
That's fair. I didn't think about that. You're absolutely right. I didn't think about that.
Italy could do it. I was really impressed with Italy against Scotland. They thumped
Italy.
them.
I'm really glad that Italy is the next team, because I think this is like a really good way to phase into it, because we don't have that much more information about France. So phasing into Italy, unfortunately is another team that we're going to expand on it in a second, but is of these 4 teams in this pool is the other team that we honestly don't know that much about. It is fair to say that Italy, in contrast to France, Italy is even harder for the language barrier. There are even fewer Italian to English translators. I know this from my job. That said, we also don't know a ton about what's happening in the Italy back office. And with Italy, in my opinion, we have a unique situation that I don't see in a lot of other teams. In my opinion, a lot of the Italy talent is aging.
Yeah. No, it's a fair point.
A lot of their number ones are Stevenin, Rigoni, Maria. A lot of those are, this may or may not be their last World Cup. I'm hoping not. Obviously, everybody is hoping not. But these are not spring chickens. They have a lot of experience, which is great. But Italy, it doesn't feel like, has a ton of talent coming up.
They've got some decent under-20s players.
Yeah.
They beat under-20s Wales.
They've been stealing some players from France.
They have been, yeah. They've got some, it's not that, they do have some good young talent coming through, but in general, yeah, it's
at the 20s, and the thing is, at the 20s, I'm much more okay with you capitalizing on parental stuff. Like, do it then, not, midway through your senior career. But Italy faces a lot of the same challenges as teams like Wales, as teams like USA, as teams like Canada. They don't get a lot of time together. We talked a lot in the last episode about how places like Spain can capitalize on the mismanagement of places like Italy, which is true. But now we're talking about Italy, and we have to address that mismanagement head on. There has been some contract mismanagement. We don't know a ton about it, but we do know that it's been reported. We also know that overall, the situation of playing domestic club in Italy can't be that great, because unfortunately, many Italian players go and play in France or Great Britain.
And although we don't, sorry to butt in here, but we don't have video of what is going on because it's not streamed at all.
We have absolutely no footage.
However, if you look at photos from players, like match photos, it doesn't look good.
It looks
it's a grassroots community club that they're playing at.
Yeah.
In women's rugby, the phrase amateur can be a very wide breadth, but when we say it looks amateurish in Italy, it's not good.
It does look like someone called Brenda is making a pie in the clubhouse. It's that level.
I mean, you'd have to figure out who the Brenda would be in an Italian name, but otherwise,
it would be nice though.
Nona is in the clubhouse making everybody dinner.
Yeah.
A calzone. Yeah.
A calzone. And I think that if you said that, they would not talk to you anymore. Because I think calzones is something we made up and said it was
Italian. I think it is as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you had a Nutella
They're basically
calzone,
pasties, aren't they?
I've
had a Nutella pizza.
Have you
had Nutella pizza?
Nutella calzone is so good.
I've
It's
had
Italian
all of
cafe
those.
in London.
I've had all of those things. I'm American, but they're all disgusting. I mean, I love them, but we're not supposed to eat them.
I'd like
No
a
one-
Biscoff pizza.
I know. And my thing is that, like, sometimes when I'm like really bored or whatever, I try to think of like what is the wildest food with Biscoff I could send Sean. I'm
I
like,
am
what would the
addicted to
funniest food be? I know. Well, the thing is, like, I have a lot of spare time, and
Biscoff sushi, I think that would be quite interesting.
that's fucked up though. Do you want?
I love
Would there be
sushi and I love
fish?
Biscoff.
Would there be fish? Or is this like
Possibly not.
there? No, I really, if you're listening on Spotify, absolutely, but I need you to know about the face Hattie made. It's very good. It's imagine a Welsh person in England disgusted.
That's just my general mood.
That's just her general.
Yes. However, we talk about Italy have had many contractual issues. However, it does seem like some things are becoming more positive. So
Absolutely.
they've risen to
The
number
new
7.
coach.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to.
There we go.
So they've risen to number 7 after turning out that Zebra Palmer Man, who I slagged off throughout the Six Nations,
We all did.
quite good at coaching women.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Men, and I'm sure there are tons of men listening right now.
Do you know what? Middle-aged Englishmen are our like top.
Number one. They
love you
it.
guys.
They love our commentary. They're like, we absolutely relate to these 3 queer women. Absolutely get it. No, we really slagged off Zebraman. Here's the thing. And I want a bunch of Zebraman.
I don't know what his actual name is. I don't
We
care.
don't know what his name
is. Simone.
Simone something, isn't it?
That felt
Simone. Yeah, and I'm very sorry. If you are watching the YouTube, pretend you didn't see us make the gesture. Please don't put us in Italy jail.
They had a good Six Nations. I think
they did.
Yeah,
they did. So all the joking aside, we feel this way, and especially all 3 of us being fans of Wales women's rugby, we see a coach that like maybe isn't for men's rugby. Maybe you're a really good women's coach. That exists. You should pursue that. Like men coaches,
it's allowed.
He's definitely fallen upwards. I still feel that his performance
failed upwards.
I still feel that his performance at Zebra should not have got him a national contract.
No,
Listen,
you are right. You're very right.
But turns out he's actually not bad.
But it's actually working.
We've made our mistake your benefit.
And I will say, the last time I made a joke about this, our good friend Harley decided to give me a very, very long piece of information about how underfunded Zebra, and I was like, let me have the bit.
So much. Thank you so much. And here's the thing, is that you gotta let her get her bit off.
Let me have it.
Gotta let Hattie get her bit off. And that's what I think people love about this podcast. Gotta let them get their bit off.
Yeah. Anyway,
speaking of bits.
Along with that, the bits are going to be on television, not ours. But, you know, Ragone pulling sweets out of her sock because there is increasing support from the Italian rugby community and the Italian public. And it's been announced that all of the Italy games will be shown free for air on TV. And you may think, is that not the bare minimum? But you'd be surprised.
Shouldn't you have been doing that?
You'd be surprised because the first ever game, the women's game, to be broadcast on television was earlier on this year.
Even Wales have been doing that a lot earlier.
And when you get Sean to say a nice thing about Wales.
I love Wales, but yeah.
Like we've been broadcasting in 2 languages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, anyway.
Yeah, that's wild to me. That is wild. It's good though. I mean, you know, it's sad to me that it's taken this long, but at least it's happened now. I do think it'll help it. I do think it'll help it, women's rugby in Italy.
Yeah.
Stuff like that really does make a difference.
And I think Italy, both the men's team and the women's team, are both confidence teams. And you've seen in the last couple of years with the men, like as the public has got behind them, it has made a huge difference.
Absolutely.
And if anyone has watched the terrible documentary on Spotify, not Spotify, on Netflix, which I hate watched both seasons of.
Oh, it's awful. I know exactly what you
bad. Mean. But the nice thing was watching the Italians because you could tell that when they finally won a match, they were very happy, and it really improved the mood in camp. And I feel the women are similar from what we've seen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they are.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And
What
it
I-
also,
what I-
I was going to say, going back to Julia's earlier point of Rigoni kind of maybe aging, she's now definitely viewed as a bench option. We've been seeing her come off the bench. How do you guys think commentators will cope?
So I am actually really glad
How
that
will
you
I
asked this
cope?
because, because I would like to bring something up. I'm guessing that you put this in specifically so that I could do it.
Yeah, I
Okay,
did.
great. So, what I have loved, and I realize now that who cares really? But my day job is I work in translation and interpretation. I care very much about languages. It matters very much to me. And what I love about my podcast co-hosts is that we all kind of came together on this and many other things. But it matters very much to us that we say the names correctly. And what I've really
I'm very
appreciated,
bad at doing it.
I know, but you try.
So am I.
Like, it doesn't matter as long as you try.
It's not
A lot
like,
of people don't. And you guys are
the
both
commentators,
Welsh, so
it's
you
their job,
understand.
just saying.
Exactly. It's your job. And Alice Soper has spoken to this so well, and I really appreciate it. She recently put out, I think she only put it out in the stories. I really hope she put it out as a reel as well. Because it's something that I think that people should really look at. But she made the point specifically about New Zealand. But when we look at our sport, this isn't new to anybody. There are certain teams or certain nations that are always going to produce an amazing team. You should always know, if you are a rugby commentator or if you are a rugby talker like we are on this pod, you should always know how to pronounce Maori names. You should always know how to pronounce Australian names, South African names, Welsh names, Scottish names, Irish names. These are not surprises. Now, we come to now. What I've really liked, and I noticed that it became really widespread in the Olympics in 2024 in Paris. I hadn't seen this before, but I really liked that they did it. On the Olympic Paris 2024 website, for literally every team, they had recordings of the players saying their names, even for like table tennis or rhythmic gymnastics. It really doesn't
They
take
did
long.
it for the Paralympics too.
They did it for the Paralympics too. Awesome.
Yeah, it's
now,
great.
Because we know, for various reasons, we've talked all about funding, we've talked all about coverage, we've talked all about the willingness or unwillingness to cover certain teams. Teams have realized that the best way to put this out is to just do it yourself. And I'm glad that we're on Italy, because Italy has done it and I absolutely love it. I think the format of their video was perfect, and it is a reel for sure. If you're on Instagram, you can go see every single player on the 33 player roster pronounce their own name. And it's even got the IPA, which is the International Phonetic Alphabet, which, if you know how to read it, you're a complete nerd. But I know how to read it because I'm a complete nerd. Exactly how to pronounce it, no matter what. And if you are a huge rugby head, you have and you follow stuff on social media, you have probably followed commentators, and you've seen once in a while that they've posted a picture of their preparation notes. And you'll notice even on those preparation notes, they have written their own phonetic pronunciations of the names. It's very important. And it's a little thing that you can do that respects the player. We are going into a World Cup where there is more internet than ever. It is easier than ever to learn. We're going to say the players' names, especially if you're somebody who's going to be making content. What we are really lucky with is that this World Cup is in England. There are tons of content makers. Hopefully some of our friends who are content makers are hearing this. Definitely go check them out. I've loved, Wales has done it as well, where they have put out videos of the entire roster and each person is saying their name and their position. Awesome. There is no excuse rather in 2025 to not pronounce the names right. And I'm sorry this went on way longer, but I hope that you found it interesting, because it matters. This is about respecting the players. We talk a lot about the respect gap between the women's players and the men's players. This is one way to
It does matter. I just to add to that, because when I went to the Euros in Switzerland, when they were announcing the Wales player names, me and my sister were joking about, oh, how are they going to cope with the Welsh names? It was fine.
They got them.
They got them. The stadium announcer had obviously done her homework. Everything was like, we were like, oh, how's she going to pronounce Fion? And it was like, we pronounced it normally.
Nailed it. But I really do think of that. Like, Gwen,
it felt nice. It felt really nice. It felt really nice, I have to say. They'd obviously made a really good effort.
Exactly. And it makes people who've traveled to your country just to do this, it makes them feel a little bit better. It makes them feel like you want them there.
I absolutely love what you've just said, but it was not actually the direction I was going in.
Okay, sorry.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Go anyway.
It was really important, so I'm glad you said it. But what I was going to say is that it's just she's the only player that any English commentators know.
Oh yes. Oh my God. So you're
100%
right. That's another rant that I can go on. That's a different episode entirely, but we do feel as a pod, it is long past the time where you as an announcer can get away with knowing 2 or 3 members of a team. Libby Janse van Rensburg is not the only South African player.
And I think we spoke earlier or in the last episode about Ruby Tui, and I think she falls into that camp as well.
Absolutely. Portia and Ruby. Absolutely. Yeah. Aisha Letty Iyenga. No.
Jazz Joyce.
Yeah.
Nobody is having trouble with that one. But no, but absolutely. But I did say it earlier, Gwenthlean Pierce. That's the name you're gonna be saying a lot going forward. Just learn how to pronounce the 2 L's. And you'll need to, by the way. Claky. That's another one you're gonna be need pronouncing for
Lucky
a lot.
Jorge.
Lucky Jorge. Clicky George. None of that is
my
right.
personal friend, Clicky George.
Close personal friend, Clicky George. But interestingly, and actually going back to the line of comment that I was making, nobody ever has any problems with Cecilia Tuipulotu.
No, they do mess up her surname.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I take that back, and that's really pathetic. Yeah. That's really pathetic if that's the case.
But I do think it's getting better, and I think a part of that is the fact that there are so many Tuipulotus.
Okay, I was going to go with there are a lot of Islanders, but Tuipulotus, there are also a lot of...
And they're all amazing rugby players.
They're all incredible. So people are getting used to saying it. But, you know, there's a lot of, even outside of rugby, where people talk about that, you know, people can say kind of stereotypically Anglophone names, and it is very true.
I hear Davis pronounced wrong. English commentators pronounce it Davies. It's like, it's not Davies.
Understanding the IES. Well, I don't want to go too long into it, only because one of the 2 of you will take this way too long and you know who it is. But both of you have Welsh names that are constantly mispronounced. Like, this is not... I know, Sean, if you get going, you won't stop.
True.
There's also going to be people that are very confused.
Hattie is not...
Is not my legal name. Yeah.
Are you not gonna dox yourself?
No, let people guess.
Oh, you're
gonna be like an international mystery woman.
Folks, comment below. Folks, like and subscribe. Comment below. What do you think Hattie is short for?
Because you're not gonna get it.
Because you're not gonna get it. You might actually get it if you're Welsh.
No, you won't. Yeah. It doesn't even make any sense.
I don't think people will get this.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's not short for hat trick, which is what I call her, because I imagine that we play rugby together and she's always wearing a hat trick.
No, it's because I was a very fat baby.
Hattie the fatty?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Oh my days.
Anyway, South Africa is the next team.
South Africa ranked 12th.
Speaking of names that are important to pronounce.
Yeah. The rise of South Africa has been astronomical, as one could say.
We are huge South Africa
love it.
Acolytes.
Obsessed.
Oh, I love it.
With several players playing overseas and a growing domestic game, South Africa has the widest range of pro contracts in women's rugby. So, as I mentioned earlier,
but please explain how that happened, because that's in a unique way.
So it is honestly bloody fascinating. So I want to say it was like around COVID.
It was, I think, 2022.
I was going to go slightly before that. The Blue Balls Daisies, which is the women's team counterparts to the URC team who play in the Premier
Really
Division.
Have to be careful with that. It's Blue Bulls. I don't know how you guys heard that, but it's Blue Bulls.
Blue Bulls. Sorry. Blue Bulls. The Daisies. We're just going to call them the Daisies.
The Daisies. Chat, we got Sean.
We've been recording for 2.5 hours, I should say.
We are having a lot of fun, and I need you to understand that we, all day, every day, are talking.
I just thought this was going into titties again. Anyway,
the Daisies. So the Daisies, they went pro, basically. Yeah, good for them. It was not off the back of South African rugby. It was just something that the club decided to do, which is very unusual in women's
Just very
rugby.
balls out, and we love.
Yeah, to just be one individual team. It's not a
I
league.
love
It's
it.
not the country. It is just the individual team. So they went pro. And from there, they dominated the Premiership division in South Africa. And not maybe like a year or two later, as Julia said, around 2022, was it? I don't think it
Just
was.
21 or 22, you're
I
right.
feel like it was like 2023 or 2024 because I remember talking about it on Twitter.
Oh, you're right. No, you're right. You're right.
South Africa announced that they were going to enact a whopping 150 central contracts to players. Now, it has not been said whether
Which is
these
crazy. Wait, but
That's
can you
nuts.
explain very briefly how a central contract can happen with a club and not a country?
So a central contract is when the union pays you directly, rather than having an individual club contract. So, for example, in Louis Rees-Zammit has recently signed a contract with Bristol Bears, which means that Bristol Bears are paying him his entire contract. He will have no money from the WRU apart from match fees, presumably.
You were right, by the way. It's 2023 that they went pro.
Thank you. On the other hand, Jasmine Joyce, who also plays for Bristol Bears and the WRU, is paid directly by the WRU and then receives a very small contract from her club.
From Bristol.
Yeah, but the majority of her money comes from the WRU. So Jazz Joyce is considered to be centrally contracted. Is that a good explanation?
I think
Yes.
a better. Well, okay, that was going to get nitpicky. Jazz Joyce is mostly paid by GB7.
She isn't anymore. It's only
Well, not
WRU.
She's not, no,
Oh, not anymore, but what?
I guess.
Yeah.
Nope, you're right. You're right.
But yeah. So in South Africa, you've got the Daisies who are being paid by the Blue Bulls, and then making sure that I definitely said the U there. And then the South African Rugby Union have announced that 150 other players, so not
So
the
this is
Daisies.
another 150.
So the Daisies, I think,
There is
like
some overlap. Yeah.
There's a little bit of overlap, but the Daisies is like about like 30. The South African Rugby Union is 150, and
Right.
those 150, it hasn't actually been said whether they're just full-time or part-time, but it's the sheer number of contracts.
That's
because
so many.
It's bigger than anybody else.
It's bigger than anybody else. So when you look at England have got 30, Wales have got about 38. It's insane.
And then of course, if you are a rugby fan already, you know what it means to be South African rugby. I don't really know a better way to introduce it to that. It's different because it's South Africa. If this were happening anywhere, it would absolutely be news. We would absolutely talk about it with this much reverence. However, when you are doing this and you happen to be South Africa, it's intimidating.
And I think it's important. It's not something I know a huge amount about, but the cost of living crisis that is global has hit South Africa very hard. And so for those players to be paid for their time, whether it be part-time or full-time, is life-changing. And several of the South African players have, they've said they could not play rugby if they were not paid because they cannot put their family through that. And
especially the folks from states and provinces much further than the central. Obviously, like most rugby nations, there are some central places that it's the best to be in for playing professional rugby. In this case, obviously wherever the Daisies are, and then also the Western Cape, and I guess, Cape Town, Durban, the same places that you think of for men's. But it's a big country. Africa's a big place.
Yep. I just think it's such a massive statement. It's basic, like, to have that many contracts.
It's more investment than anybody. It's more statement than anybody else.
Because it's not saying we're rewarding our players that are good enough to play for our national team. It's saying that all
I'm investing in the future.
like
Yes.
this is
We
literally
mean
covering
business,
basically all of their players in their Premier Division.
They
Yeah.
said, I see what's coming and I want to fund it. And this is something that we've harped on a lot on this podcast, is that all it takes is for a union to look at what is coming down the pipe, look further than the tip of your nose. And South Africa said, bet.
But I like it's already bearing fruit. Like, they've improved so much. They're probably the most improved side.
Yeah, so
they're the most improved. They have brought in people like Lynn Cantwell a few years ago. They now have Swice de Bruin, who is apparently changing everything for this team.
And he speaks so well of them as well. Like,
yes,
so well of his
shying
players.
away. They're not shying away, and it's really, really encouraging to see that the South African rugby heart that you know from the men's box is not going to fade and is not going to be diluted for the women. There was a lot to worry about, actually. I had passed you guys off on the chat the Rugby Pass article on Yaki Cilliers that I thought was fantastic. It gave me a lot of insight, and I understand it's not super in depth or whatever. It's just giving you kind of an insight into what it's like playing as a woman. But we know, as rugby knowers, we know about the culture in South Africa. Whatever else you can say about the view of women, the view of people of color, we know about all the challenges that they've faced in that country. As usual, in rugby, all of the problems that you think of that are socioeconomic like that are worse for women. And as far as I can tell, South Africa is the only major rugby nation that has been like, yeah, we got to fix that.
And also, I think it's really important to note that the women's team only played their first test match in 2004.
Yeah,
that's right.
So you hear a lot, especially
to really speak to the cultural.
Yeah, like when you speak to sort of random people, they'll say, "Oh, well, women's rugby's new," and my answer is always, "No, it's not."
20 years is not new.
Yeah, like but if you look at the whole of women's rugby history, even if you go back, 60 years is not new. However,
I mean, 91 was the first Women's World Cup.
Yeah, 91 was only last week, just saying.
True.
But to
for Sean, it was yesterday.
To have such a major rugby nation only play their first international test match in 2004 is bonkers. And a lot of that is to do with how women and people of colour and queer women, etc., have been seen historically and even currently in South Africa. But that is changing, and you've got the support of Sia Khaleesi, which has been massive, and also a shout out to our sister brother pod channel friends, Bit of an Animal.
Fantastic. Please do check it out.
Yeah.
We're very excited because they are going to do continual coverage of the women box.
They have a women's rugby specialist. And if you go watch their last episode, I don't know if they're going to have a new one out by the time this goes out. They spent a really long time talking about them, and all of the guys are saying like, "Hey, we don't know that much, but we want to learn." And I think that is really important, and that seems to be from the circles that we run in online. That seems
that's absolutely
the
100%.
And I think that the South African rugby public, which if this were a men's rugby podcast, we would be dangerous saying this, but we can because it's women's. Honestly, deserve a lot of kudos. There are a lot of rugby nations that perhaps are, and I'm going to compare and contrast with New Zealand. New Zealand, where you often have to drag the fans of the All Blacks kicking and screaming to the Black Ferns, which is crazy because they've
won more World Cups than literally any other team ever.
It's nuts.
Like
R.I.P. my mentions.
R.I.P. my mentions. However, comparatively, it's really refreshing and really nice, actually, for fans of women's rugby to see a community that is like very poised to embrace their women. South Africa is a place like when a team wearing a South Africa shirt wins, they don't give a fuck. That's dope. We're celebrating.
Speaking of that, I was recently wearing my South Africa top, walking down the road,
fantastic,
in my village, and I'm like walking down the road, and all of a sudden this like white middle-aged man sticks his head out of his car window and just yells, "Bucket!"
Love it.
And that's
At me.
rugby.
And
And
that's the South
thing,
Africans we love.
Exactly. The greatest thing is that like there's a very high percentage chance that you're going to experience a lot of that during RWC. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be really cool. But they ran out Italy very, very close in WXV2. It was a 1923 loss. They also beat a Black Ferns 15 a couple of weeks ago.
That was a statement win.
Yeah.
It was a great win.
Yeah. And then
really, if you want to go watch it on replay, also it's a really entertaining match. But
yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. And they also, if you look at the matches against Canada, their warm-up matches, you'd be like, oh, they were succinct losses. When you compare that loss to the scoreline that Ireland, best of the rest, got against Canada,
absolutely,
it tells
they scored some
story.
really good tries. They scored some really good tries against Canada.
That's the thing is that you see a lot of rugby IQ, and I mean you would expect that, but it's nice to see. It's nice to see your expectation come to fruition.
Honestly, those Canada matches, you can just see the potential.
But I think a couple of years ago with South Africa women, you were looking at them and they were relying on like brute strength and just like physicality.
Which was, if we were recording this for last World Cup, absolutely that was the main concern. That was relying on physicality.
But that has completely changed, and the rugby IQ's through the roof. And I really do.
Their backs play is so inspiring.
It's so
good.
And so they have got speed.
Malinga reminds me of Mapimpi, which is.
And she's missing out because she's got an ACL injury, but
I know.
I know,
but it's just I'm thinking about it because like the last time I watched it.
Oh no, I was talking about somebody else. I was going to say Kayla Schwartz, who is Cheslin Colby's cousin, which is quite impressive.
Oh really?
Why not? Her brother is the world record holder in the 400-meter sprint.
Sign her up.
She played hockey at the last Olympics for South Africa, and she made the switch to rugby back in September of last year. And
all I'm saying is every time that happens, that player ends up really good.
And she is really good. She unfortunately got injured and has been out of contention. But considering she maybe got like 6 months of rugby, it was incredible. So she's my one to watch next time out. But I do think they could be targeting that Italy game, and I would not be surprised if they make it through.
Yeah, I do. I do think I do not think that it is nailed on that Italy is number 2. I'm sorry. I don't. I think that I don't think Brazil is going to beat them, obviously. But I think that South Africa could give them a run for the money.
I think Italy do work better as an underdog team.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think this is South Africa's
so does South Africa.
They really thrive.
Yeah, maybe.
They really thrive.
Yeah. And I think that the 12 rating for South Africa is slightly unfair. I wouldn't say there is that much of a gap.
I think
honestly, I don't think Wales would necessarily beat a Black Ferns 15 side. So I don't know.
You mean South Africa?
Sorry, I mean I don't think Wales would beat Black Ferns 15. Sorry, that's a bit cruel.
No one would.
And South Africa
no one except England.
Yeah, but South Africa did.
XV. Okay, sorry. I thought you meant the Black Ferns in general. 15. I was like, no, I don't think they will. No. That was my bad.
The Black
totally
Ferns 15.
No. I agree.
And that Black Ferns 15 was not weak.
It was not.
It wasn't a weak side.
It was not a slouch.
It was a huge win for South Africa. I think it didn't get enough attention outside of like our WhatsApp chat. To be honest.
It was absolutely a statement.
Yeah.
No question. And I
think they could beat Italy. I do.
I just have nothing negative to say.
We feel very much that South Africa is on the kind of up that we would really, that first of all, we believe other unions can have. This is not a one-off just because they're South Africa. You can have this, but you have to be as bold as South Africa. And that's what I love about what South Africa has been doing is that they have been making several bold, to compare it especially to France, a lot of bold out front statements, and there has been so little that you don't know what's going on. You know who's there, you know who's at camp, you know who's coaching them, you know how they're feeling, you know who the leaders are going to be, and you know how everybody is going.
Yeah,
I just love the vibes. Their vibes are amazing.
The vibes are fantastic.
When you follow them on socials, like they're oh my god, they're joyous.
I really can't recommend enough. @Women Box is one of my favorite follows.
But the thing is, their communication is incredible. Like, literally, you found out the next day that Kayla Schwartz had done her ACL. In comparison, I remember we were looking at, I think it was Grise for France during the Six Nations or around then, being like,
I think
because we didn't expect her to come back, and she did.
Because we were
in
like,
general,
where is
in
she?
general,
And I had to go through the Elite One website to find out the last time she'd played, and then scroll through her tagged
And then
photos
do
on
math.
Instagram to find her in a boot.
I would say it's pretty bad for in women's rugby in general. To get information on injuries, it's awful.
Like,
Don't know why.
but their communication is so clear. Again, there are language barriers with South Africa. Yes, they use English, but they use plenty of other languages. I think they've got, what, like 14 official languages, Julia? Someone will tell us in the comments.
In South Africa, I think 14 are official, 22 are unofficial.
Like,
whoa.
but yet their communication in English is clear. It is, you know more what's going on in the South Africa camp than you do anyone else.
And also, like, we can't go off on this because we really have to move to Brazil. But if you watch domestic South African rugby, which I watch a lot of now, they also always have Sosha and they always have Afrikaans commentators as well. So that's,
and are they excited?
Especially the Sosha, yeah.
I love it. So we move on to Brazil.
But that does move us to my girls.
They are the lowest ranked team in the competition. They're 10 points lower than the second lowest ranked team.
This is also their first ever Rugby World Cup appearance.
First ever Rugby World Cup appearance. It's the first time. It's the first time that a South American team are appearing.
Didn't Colombia go last time?
No.
No.
Scotland beat them last. Beat them last minute. Right? Nope. You're right.
So it's the first time a South American team are competing. It's the first time Brazil are competing. It's the first time any Brazil team is competing because the men haven't made it. They have been at the Olympics because obviously they auto qualified in 2016. They still made it in 2020 and 2024. What are the expectations for the ultimate underdogs?
So I didn't mean to say, like, I'm diehard Jaguars fan. I'm thrilled that they haven't made it for the first time. I do think that if it wasn't them, it would have been Colombia. I'm thrilled. I love both of those South American teams. In terms of what to expect, these are going to be underdogs. These are going to be players who haven't really gotten to experience this. Even at, we compare teams like Spain, who dominate something like Rugby Europe the same way that Brazil dominates South America. True, but it's simply not the same. This is going to be an eye-opener. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The thing is that I'm really excited about for rugby people to watch is that this is not the same kind of style that you're going to be used to seeing. South American rugby, because of how it's had to evolve, has evolved in a bubble. A lot, especially the women, have not been invited. Honestly, Brazil doesn't play in Rugby Americas North, which would be the next closest way to get that kind of exposure. They haven't gotten to play the USA. They haven't gotten to play Canada. And when those are the closest ones, and you're regularly playing Colombia, Argentina, Peru, those types of teams, it's not going to be the same. We are super glad that they have played Portugal in some friendlies. I think that that's going to give them some exposure, but it's also playing one of the lowest ranked REC teams.
Didn't they get absolutely hammered by the Netherlands?
So they did, unfortunately. The Netherlands did nil them. And that's honestly my concern. I follow the Yaras religiously. All of their content is in Portuguese. Fortunately, Portuguese is a language I understand. I've been watching a lot of their socials.
I found some of it in English.
Their socials content, by the way, is like very good. If you can get over,
it is good.
No, some of their World Cup stuff is in English.
Their World Cup stuff now is in English, which is awesome. They do have a comms person in there who is from North America, which is awesome. For everything else, it's awesome that we have such a huge Brazilian enclave here in America, which is great. There is English language stuff. I didn't mean to cast anybody off. There is definitely English language stuff. But in terms of the day-to-day stuff, they put out a lot of content. We know a lot about what's going on there. It's simply that this is not a union that is as far along developed as the unions that we're used to dissecting.
Yeah.
Even
it's not. it's not necessarily that we're like not getting information about contracts or whatever. It's just that like
Yeah.
a lot of them play on teams that we would consider grassroots. That's all it is.
Yeah. And even if you compare it to some of the South American men's teams that make, like, Brazil does not compare. And if you're like, oh, well, why aren't we seeing, why isn't Argentina the first women's South American team?
You would expect, but nope.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it's culture, it's sexism, it's the way that women are seen, it's sports that are being promoted in those countries, and
which is insane if you know about Brazilian culture. But Brazil has let its absolute love for sport. This is something in Brazil women's rugby's favor, is that Brazil is a sporting nation. Brazil is one of the best countries in the world for football, for soccer. They aren't happy not being that good at something. And rugby has cropped up in South America as kind of one of the next big things. They're not going to get very big in ice hockey. They're never going to probably get very big in basketball. Rugby is something they can do. And fans of men's rugby know, because they've seen teams like the Pumas. They've seen Uruguay. They've seen even Colombia men's is coming up. They're not that great. Their women are better than their men's. But in Brazil, by far, both the 7s and the 15s teams are leagues ahead of the men's. I'm hoping that means that they're getting more support. We don't know. I hesitate to blame it on like they're not doing good comms. It's more that it's the culture. It's the sporting culture of the region. They tend not to necessarily talk a lot about back office stuff in general. Not that they're not doing it for women. It's just that it's not a piece of news. It tends to be more about the stories, which I think is probably what attracts me so much to it. But it's about the players. A lot of these players are from really disadvantaged backgrounds, or kind of found out at 19 years of age that you can pick up a soccer ball. You can pick up the ball. But
I think
it's great.
really
Friend of the Julia, Francisco Isaac, has put out a bunch. We're really lucky. We have a Rugby Pass writer now who speaks both Spanish and Portuguese and has reached out to all these players, and we're getting tons of content now out of the Spanish speaking and Portuguese speaking nations. And we're learning about these Brazilian players and about the winding paths that all of them took to rugby. This is not a place where anybody is playing rugby at 5.
Yeah. I just think like it's so tough for a team that's literally like the worst ranked team. And it's kind of, I think,
and the thing is, every competition has to have a worse ranked.
Exactly, totally. And talk about expectations. I kind of look at it a little bit like Wales at the Euros. It's kind of like you go and you're the worst team,
right.
But actually getting there is kind of the best part of it. And Brazil have done incredibly well to get there in the first place. And I think that is their huge step.
Exactly. And I think about when, respectively, when both Wales the first time and then USA the second time made it to WXV1 is what I think about.
Yes.
There's lots of conversation. There's lots of conversation you can have about whether going and getting trounced a bunch is good for your development. In this case, I think it's inarguable. Going to a World Cup is a net good.
Exactly. And that is their
it's the first step
achievement. It's the first step.
It's the first step you need to take to come back to your union and say, we can do it.
Yeah,
because exactly. This is in us, we can do
it.
For people who didn't sort of keep in touch with WXV, Brazil haven't even been to WXV.
No.
So this is their first major global competition.
The qualifying is
massive.
So massive. I don't think, people might not quite realize how big this is for them. So
they've only started even doing friendlies against continental European teams in the last few years. It's been
exactly.
Yeah, usually they're playing their neighbors, or they're playing like USA development
a touring
teams.
Team. Yeah, USA Falcons. Falcons go down there every year. Yeah,
and like the under 23s.
Yep.
Yeah. And so it's going to be a great experience for them, and I think I'm excited to see them. I'm actually going to go see them in real life. I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Here's the thing: if you love the vibes of South, and here's why I'm really excited that they're in the same pool, is because I think that when Brazil and South Africa play each other, the vibes are going to be amazing. The vibes are going to be off the fucking charts.
It's going to be so cool.
I can't describe to you these two teams.
The joy.
Really enjoy being there.
It's going to be such
they're
a
two
fun
teams,
match.
They're two teams I feel like have a lot in common, in terms of the heart of rugby. Yeah.
And not only that, but you've got to give it some of the Brazilian backs.
And here's the thing: is that they
They're
don't go to the Olympics for nothing. Bianca Silva,
They are quick. So
we think of them. I think of them in terms of speak very similarly to Japan. You're not expecting what you're about to get.
Yeah, I think are they going to win games? No. Are they probably going to pull off an absolute miracle try that's going to have people with their jaws on the floor?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think
No
so.
question. There's gonna be at least one absolute cracker that makes it around socials.
Yeah.
And for my money, it's gonna be Bianca Silva, but I hope that it's someone else.
Yeah.
Only because Talia Costa is injured.
Oh.
She's not in.
Oh. That's heartbreaking. So I can't keep up with everybody that's in and out, quite frankly.
No, there are too many.
It's too many people.
Too many players.
So this leads me on to our last little roundup. So we've got our quarterfinals. Quarterfinal 1 will be the winner of Pool C and the runner-up of Pool D, which is likely going to be New Zealand versus either Italy or South Africa. Are we happy with my prediction?
Agreed.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then quarterfinal 3 will be the winner of Pool D and the runner-up of Pool C, which in my mind, the only option is France versus Ireland.
France, Ireland, yeah.
Yeah. And both of those are in Exeter that weekend. So have fun with that.
See you all there.
And we do have 2 questions from Yap City residents, which is what I'm going to name our listeners.
Yes.
That's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, by the way.
Yeah. So first of all, we have sister of the pod, Sarah, would like to know, which is the strongest team not in the World Cup?
Ooh.
It's a good question.
It's
a really good question. Netherlands.
Yeah, that was my answer.
I think so.
It's another
But
one.
I mean, Hong Kong, China are on the up, but I don't know.
I was going to say Netherlands, and then catching up for me, I was going to say China. You're right, though. It's Hong Kong, China. That was my bad.
Yeah. But no, I think the Netherlands.
Yeah.
They are good.
Yeah.
Although Tonga is getting better.
Yes.
Agreed. And I think, and this is, it's a topic for another episode completely, but there will ultimately have to be a conversation about what is to be done about Oceania in the face of Pac-4. We'll talk about that another time. But yes.
For people who don't know, do you want a fun fact?
Yes, always.
So, Tongan women have the highest percentage of rugby players in the world.
That does not surprise me at all.
Yeah,
that
does not surprise me.
Yeah.
Most of the teams,
I love it.
It's like something ridiculous, like 1 in 6 people.
Wales is small.
Wales and USA have Tongan players.
Yeah, and I think so does Ireland now.
Yep,
they have an Islander.
And I don't know where the Falus are from, but there's a potential.
That they're from a
you're
overseas
right.
territory.
They're from no, you're absolutely right.
The
they're
one
from New
that,
Caledonia.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Patrick would like to know, if we had to pick the winner of the World Cup based sheerly on how nice their jerseys are, who would win?
I had
a whole point.
I'm so happy because this is a question for both Hattie and Sian. These are things they both love.
So I actually had in somebody's
Wales
write
would not
up.
win, Sian. Wales would not win the jersey.
It's lovely. War. It's really
wouldn't
nice.
win the jersey war.
It wouldn't
Think
win.
About how good
no.
some of them look.
I know.
I had it written in somebody's write up saying they have the best jersey in the World Cup.
Who was it?
Italy.
I didn't want to because I thought you guys would laugh at me, but I do think it's Italy.
Yeah.
I
think it's Italy.
I really like the filigree.
It is nice.
I like it. It's not the filigree, it's the marble.
Oh,
yeah,
marble,
it is nice.
Sorry. Marble, sorry. No. Sorry. I was thinking of their warm-ups. You're right.
Yeah, their filigree is good though. I also think my runners-up are Spain.
Always.
Have you seen them?
Always.
They've got a lion on them.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Joma always does good work.
Yeah. And then I do like the USA one.
I do too, and I saw it in the launch, and I was expecting to like it. And in fact, Patrick, because I know you're listening, I know you got one of the USA jerseys. I'm so stoked you did because it looks fantastic. I saw it at the launch.
The shorts,
I really like the emboss. Oh yeah,
the shorts match the top, which I like. It's not a plain short.
The Scotland away one is nice.
I do really like
it's a nice shade.
It's really lovely.
And everybody's going to get mad at us, so we're saying it. because you can't argue with us. And then I would also like to say, we also did just talk about them. Brazil. I'm so super about it. Okay, so I wanted to let people know because it looks like it wasn't super well publicated or publicized. Brazil is selling all of their stuff, including their really sick blue and green warm-up stuff. They have a new partnership with a new company. I think they're based out of Brazil, but they manufacture in Australia. I'm not sure what the deal is. But they are selling everything, and their patterning, you will notice if you look at the launches, you will see patterning that is several symbols, and it's down their sleeves and it's down their back and everything. And they have put up what all three of them are. All three of them are taken from indigenous Brazilian cultures for symbols that mean certain things, like togetherness or like reliance on each other. I don't want to say something completely wrong, but it's something like that. And when you go onto the site, if you go on, their socials are at Talk to Yaras. If you go through all of that, all of their stuff is in the link in bio. Also, like if you at me anywhere on socials, I'll absolutely give you the link. And if you go through and you're on your order page, one of the images is going to be the explanation for all of it. I absolutely love it. It's a shame that their national colors are green and gold. You can't, like, there are some other nations that already capitalized on green and gold.
But rudely, I will say to Brazil, at least theirs are in their flag.
Thank you.
Yes.
I mean,
oh my God.
Australia, what are you doing?
That's so true. Where's that come from? Wallabies?
I'm sorry.
I don't know. Can I just say, in defense of the Wales jersey, friend of the pod did design this.
We knew you would. Yes.
Oh yeah, Brogan.
Yeah, Brogan, who actually met at the Cardiff Arms Party the other day.
You and Hattie have both met her now.
I have not met her, but we've DM'd.
You can't see, but it does have very nice detail on it. You can't actually see it.
It does
from here, but it is lovely. It is a lovely jersey.
And Wales always does something cool in the emboss, like either on the back.
They've got some really nice details. They always do cool stuff. I honestly think this is one of the best Wales jerseys ever. I think it's lush.
That across the board. Also, other friends of the pod who have gotten it have all said not only is they like the look of it, but apparently this one, in terms of fabrication, is one of their favorites.
Oh, it's lush. Comfort. Yeah. So lovely. So yeah, I just want to say that.
Which is great because sometimes Wales, you do not nail it. You're not 100%.
No.
Sometimes I do feel that, especially Wales, it seems like Macron, like it's almost like they design a bunch of stuff and they put it in a book at the beginning of the year and they hand out the book, and whoever pays the most gets the best designs, and then like somehow the Welsh regions end up with like the cast offs for everybody else because they don't make any sense.
So I don't know, Macron is like hit and miss. So their training kit is often nicer than the actual kit.
If you'd like to hear Macron or Castor opinions, the is at HG Rugby. And our friend of the all of us, Hugh. Hugh, we would love it if in fact you made us a small drop or something, or maybe you made a short or something. We'd actually love to know from you, actually. And we're gonna extend this to everybody else, even if you're not Hugh. Let us know, what are your favorite jerseys? This is a really good reason for you to go check out all the drops. Go see what everybody is up to. What are you liking? Have any of you bought any? Are any of them?
Don't start that. The England Red Roses fans are very upset right now.
Are they? What's the deal? Oh, is it because of the no men's sizes?
There's no men's sizes, and the women's are sold out everywhere. They've had to take it off the website. Now you know the pain of every other.
Really? I mean, fair play that they've sold out though. That's pretty good.
So here's the thing. I think
it was low supply.
This is a bit. This is a bit.
Sorry, they only had 3. Sorry.
They have 4. Sorry.
This is a joke that I am getting off, and this is how we're going to end it. But men, look, coming from 3 woman-bodied people, what we've been told for many years. Oh, I mean, just don't pay attention to the bust. You'll be fine. You'll figure it out.
I will say, I saw a Facebook post the other day from a man who said that he was usually a size large, but he bought a size 18, UK size 18, and it fitted him lovely.
Of course it would.
Same. He and I have big titties.
He did say in the comments that
he was a bigger chested man.
Yeah, it suited the moobs.
And so I was going to say, here's the thing is that at one size, and this is one of the many good things about being a front rower, is that ultimately, at one point, all of us are kind of the same size.
This is why I never
Ladies.
played in the front row.
We also never invited you. You're too neurotic.
I was invited, but
Were you invited? That makes
I
me
played
laugh.
hooker
I would
for a
really
while.
love to. I know you said that, but I mean,
I'm-
I played scrum. I played scrum half for a while. It wasn't good.
I'm too chaotic. I need to be in the back row.
I was going to say my problem is that you are one of the most chaotic people I've ever met. Folks, this has been full D of the Women's Rugby World Cup. We are so happy that you have gone through all of this with us. We are so stoked to be finishing up. We would love it if you gave us any feedback whatsoever, any thoughts that you have, any questions. We are probably going to take a little bit of a break because, girl, we've been talking. We'll probably take a little bit of a break. We're going to be heading back. Of course, when we are recording this, it just happens to be August 16th. So we are heading right up on the first weekend. Up first, we have the opener in
Sunderland.
it's Sunderland, I know, but what is it? What was Hugh calling? It's this city of shite.
The Stadium of Shite.
Stadium of shite. Folks, do go to the England USA opener. Don't poop there.
To be fair, it was already called the Stadium of Shite
I'm just saying
before somebody christened it.
And was like, well, if you're inviting me.
And it wasn't a football match because we've got far more class when it comes to rugby.
I was just going to say that is a game for hooligans. Ours, game for gentlewomen. Thank you so much.
Isn't it the other way around?
Soccer
Played
is
by hooligans.
Yeah.
Rugby is played by hooligans. No.
So football.
Soccer is a gentleman's game played by hooligans. Rugby is a game for hooligans played by gentlemen.
That's the
And
one.
gentlewomen.
Gentlewomen. And when you think of gentlewomen, you think of Women's Rugby Treehouse.